We've been hearing about Apple beginning to switch their Macs over to their very own ARM-based chips for a couple of years now, but we're finally starting to hear some specific details on how and when Apple will begin this process. So in this video, we'll discuss some of those rumors and figure out whether it's worth waiting for Apple's ARM-based Macs or not. About a month and a half ago, Bloomberg reported that Apple will release its first Mac powered by an ARM processor in 2021. Apparently, it'll be based on the A14 chip, which we're expecting to see in the 2021 iPhones, which will be built using a brand new 5nm process, which is going to be extremely efficient. They mentioned that this chip will be a 12-core CPU with 8 high-performance cores and 4 energy-efficient cores. Now, you might be thinking that this means it'll be a very powerful processor meant to go into a pro machine like the MacBook Pro, but it'll most likely be meant for lighter workloads. More on that in just a minute. Bloomberg also mentioned that Apple has been working and testing a prototype chip that's based on the A12X chip, which came in the 2018 iPad Pro. And the testing was successful enough that they decided to begin the transition as early as 2020. And one last piece of info is that switching to ARM is expected to save Apple about 40 to 60% on their processor costs compared to the current chips from Intel. That's actually a huge amount, but don't expect these rumored ARM Macs to get significantly cheaper, since consumers will swarm to buy these Macs because of all of the hype, even at current prices. Now, the most important thing for us to figure out is which of these Macs will be the first to come with ARM processors. One thing's for sure is that we should not expect the ARM chip to come to the machines that are used for professional work, like the MacBook Pro, the Mac Mini, or the iMac. There will most likely be a period of around 1 or 2 years where not everything will work properly on the first ARM Mac. Apple has to give developers some time to rewrite their apps to support these new chips. And since those Macs that I mentioned are used by professionals to get important work done, Apple will not risk switching those Macs over until macOS runs flawlessly with these new chips. And that could take at least 2 years, if not 4 or 5. So if you're in the market for a high-powered MacBook Pro for professional work and you're waiting on the ARM Macs to come, don't hold your breath. Apple is much more likely to put their new ARM chip into an entry-level Mac like the MacBook Air, or they could even revive the 12-inch MacBook. The reason they would do this is because those MacBooks were never meant for any type of professional work. They were meant for web browsing, using basic apps, watching YouTube or movies, and doing work that requires a lot of typing. And we're already able to do these tasks on the iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard case, which is pretty awesome. If you guys haven't seen that review, you guys can check it out after this video. So for those users, they won't really care that a lot of third-party apps might not be compatible on day one because they don't use those apps like MacBook Pro users do. All they would really care about is battery life and having enough power to keep it feeling snappy, and that's exactly what an ARM chip will give you. Incredible battery life and great performance without getting very hot and without a lot of fan noise, which is ironically the situation with the 2020 MacBook Air, which gets really hot and really loud, especially the i5 and i7 models. We all wondered why Apple didn't connect the fan to the heatsink on the MacBook Air. Well, maybe it's because they're planning to put an ARM chip in it next year, where it will no longer need a fan at all, and it won't get nearly as hot as the current Air. Consumers looking for a basic laptop are gonna love it, and there's a chance that Apple will allow iOS games to run on that ARM MacBook. And maybe that's why we've been seeing rumors of Apple coming out with their very own gaming controller. That would totally make sense, especially since we already have the Apple Arcade for macOS, which the controller will definitely be used for. So there's really a lot to speculate about on this upcoming ARM MacBook. But thankfully, there's a really good chance that Apple will mention it at this year's WWDC on June 2nd, so we can all look forward to that. But the most important thing that you need to realize is that if you're looking for a high-powered Mac for creative or professional work, it doesn't really make sense to wait, and you should consider buying one of the current Macs that are on sale using the links in the description below. So if this video helped you out, go ahead and click the circle above to subscribe for our WWDC coverage coming later this month. And definitely be sure to check below this video for our new line of t-shirts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.